Hey everybody, happy Monday. It is our second Monday live guide, and I have to admit that I've kind of been running around here on the farm, cooking and working in the kitchen, and just getting caught up with some chores. So I sit down with you with a little bit out of breath and probably in the same space that many of you are when you decide to come to a space that is for reflection and meditation, meaning that you are like coming into this place as sort of a whirlwind of activity and trying to sit down to try to relax. So I invite you to, before we begin, just take a deep breath with me. So yeah. So welcome. Welcome to the space that you've created for yourself. And I'll remind you, what we discussed last week was about how to create a comfortable seat for meditation that's done in stillness. So if you didn't join us last week, that means either sitting in a chair or you can sit on the floor. If you are sitting in a chair, I encourage you to put something behind your back so that you can sit rather upright. And if you are sitting on the floor, then I encourage you to stack some pillows or blankets so that you can raise up your hips. And having your hips above your knees decreases the angle on the hip joint and the knee joint. So for those of us, which is almost all of us, who have tight backs, maybe sore hips or knees at times, sitting with your hips as high up above your knees as possible is a great way to sit still on the floor for a period of time. So we're going to continue today with the meditation that we started last week using breath. And breath is a powerful tool to reverse the physiological effects of stress. I think it's well documented now, the connection between stress and disease. But what stress does to us just immediately is, whether it's good or bad stress, it can be surprise and delight. But we often stop breathing in our full capacity. So that is the physiological response within our lungs and our breath. So when we breathe with intention and in mindfulness practices, there is an incredible reversal of that entire physiological response to stress. Breath is the antidote that we all have access to the response in our bodies to stress. It is, as the yogis call it, breath, we call breath prana, which means life force, meaning literally the difference in us between being alive or not is our breath. And so when we are not breathing fully, we are experiencing detrimental effects to our breath. And the reality is that we live in a reality where we can't avoid that. We are in these human bodies to respond to all kinds of stimulus, and there is no perfection in that. But that is why learning tools like this simple breathing meditation can be an important part of your practice of just overall well-being, just like going to the gym or eating well. Breathing as a practice, which I know sounds odd, is also incredibly beneficial to reversing the effects of the reality that we live in and the stresses that we deal with every day. So let's breathe together. And before we get started, let me remind you that this is a practice. Stillness is not something that's inherent to us. We were built to move. And there are many ways to move in meditation: walking, running, dancing. All of that yields the kind of absorption and presence in the moment that we're seeking in the stillness practice of just sitting and breathing. But the difference in what we're doing by sitting is that we are, again, as I said last week, we are folding our doing bodies, our eating bodies, if you will. The body is always out to go and get, to achieve survival. We're bringing that part of us to stillness so that we can connect with the more subtle pieces of our being. The breath body is one of those subtle pieces, but also the intuitive body and the piece within us that already has the answer, that already sees with clarity. And so by closing our eyes and folding within and shutting out all of the stimulus, or attempting to, because it is never quite perfect, we can connect with some very deeply intuitive pieces of ourselves that are harder to see when we're in the midst of doing a lot of stuff. So let's get started. So just take a moment to get yourself situated and comfortable, and then let your eyes close. And as you close your eyelids, soften your gaze. See if you have the capacity to relax the space around your eyes and your jaw, your cheeks. Let your tongue rest just against the back of your top teeth. Let your tongue relax. Feel the back of your neck nice and long. Maybe draw the chin in slightly and relax your shoulders. And just take a couple of deep breaths, letting your shoulders rise, letting your rib cage expand. If you need to, you can open your mouth and just make a nice big and then just relax the breath and let it return to its natural rhythm. Take a moment to feel the chair or the cushion that is underneath you, that supports you. And see if you can soften your hips a little further, your legs, your feet. See where your hands are, what are they doing? And just relax them and let them fold into your lap in whatever way feels natural. And now, simply just breathe. Let your thoughts move to an awareness of the in and out of the breath without changing anything about your breath. Just seeing where it's at in its natural rhythm, becoming attentive to just the breath, allowing all other thoughts to move out of the way so that you can focus on this gentle in and out breathing. Know that I'm still here with you, even in silence. And just continue to breathe. And allow the observer in you to observe the mind as it moves from distraction back to simply listening to your inhale and your exhale. And if you notice judgments about your breathing or emotions about it, or emotions about what's happening in your mind and your thought processor, that's good. Notice them and then release them and follow your in breath and your out breath. Now, begin to deepen your breath. Take in more breath on your inhale. And as you exhale, let it be complete, not forced. Feeling the sensation of your lungs, your diaphragm expanding as you inhale. See if you can expand that into the belly too, into the lowest regions of the belly. Breathing deeply down, almost into the pelvis. Feeling the torso move both forward and backwards. Your breath filling every space. And then as you exhale, soften further. Relax. Inhale to move the breath into all of you, into the belly, into the back. Exhale to soften. And let your breath return to a natural rhythm. You may perhaps be breathing a little more deeply and easily now. And continue to watch your breath. Now seek a greater subtlety of the breath by seeking the pause that exists just after your exhale. This is a natural pause. It's not something that you force. And it may take some time to discover it. So as you breathe, just follow the in, follow the out, and see if you can discover the space between. Now, each time you fall into that space at the end of the exhale, the pause before the inhale, investigate what it means to soften even further in that space. Softening your body and your gaze. Relaxing your mind. As though there were levels to your awareness of your breathing. You follow that space deeper and deeper. And now, deepen your breath and take 3 large breaths, breathing deeply as you can. Inhale, exhaling through your nose or your mouth. And just gently begin to open your eyes. Wiggle your fingers, move your shoulders, whatever feels good. That's the end of our meditation for today. And if you found yourself fidgeting, know that that is a part of the process. Learning to be still is not easy. And you can always make movement a part of it. So if you really have to scratch your head, scratch it with careful intention. Bring it back. Your hand down, whatever it is, you can do that and still move and come back to stillness without it taking you out of your attention. So, and the main other advice I have to you is just to be patient. We practiced for about 10 minutes breathing, so that's really excellent. And we'll continue to work with the breath in this way for the next few weeks. So thank you for gifting yourself this time, and I hope to see you again next week. Remember that there are a number of ways you can join me in the future for deeper teachings. We have a retreat coming up here at Circle Yoga Shala, where I live, in December, and then in January, my teachers and I are all going to be in Costa Rica, leading a really unique retreat around yoga and ceremony and enjoying Costa Rica. So all of that information is at my website. I'll put that in the details below. But mostly, to end on a note, let me just end again with gratitude and remind you to thank yourself for taking care of yourself on this Monday and starting your week this way. I hope everybody has a fantastic week. I'll see you in 7 days. Thank you.